All right, people, welcome to Choco Millionaire one more time. I'm broadcasting from my small laptop. Please forgive me if my visual or camera quality is not the greatest. I'm working on upgrading my webcam. Um, I want to quickly talk about another way to get your PR. The previous video I did was more for college diploma holders. This is not to say only colleges award diploma. Some universities also award diploma programs, but at least you want to know the clear difference between a diploma graduate versus a degree graduate or a master's graduate or a PhD graduate. Okay, they are different. So this video here is for master's degree guys. So if you are studying in Canada and you just finished your master's degree, this video is for you. Or if you're looking forward to doing a master's degree, this video is for you. If you are still in your program and you haven't finished, this video is for you. And even more importantly, if you live in Ontario, this video is for you. I'm not able to see the comments as they should. So if you don't mind, just drop your comments and then I'll find another way to track them on my other phone as well. Okay. Let me know if my voice is audible enough. Let me know if you're also able to see whatever I will be sharing on the screen. I'm going to share a screen. So I need you guys to interface with me and let me know if you are able to read well, or if my sound is coming out. Please keep me posted. Now, one of the easiest ways to get your permanent residence as a graduate student, by graduate student, we mean a master's degree person or a PhD. So this is not for college. This video is not for college folks. If you're a college person, this video is not for you. When I came to Canada, I did a master's degree for 1 year. Now, some of my colleagues did a master's degree for 2 years. Some people do a thesis-based master's. Some people do course-based master's. Some people also do internship-based as well. Whichever one it is, most important thing is that you did a master's degree. Some people may also be here and they may have also done a PhD or be doing a PhD. This video is more for people who are doing a master's degree, 1 year or 2 year master's degree in Canada, in the province of Ontario. Now, if you are living in another province like New Brunswick, Saskatchewan, Manitoba, Nova Scotia, Prince Edward, any of the other provinces, this concept I'm explaining could be available in your province too. You just have to find the equivalent of this same program and then check for the master stream. So this program is for what we call the Ontario Immigrant Nominee Program. I'm sharing my screen right now. So I'll be going back and forth just to see if you guys are able to see what I'm projecting right now on the screen. So on the screen, you should be able to read, how did I get here? Basically, you go on Google and you type OINP, Master's Graduate Stream. OINP stands for Ontario Immigrant Nominee Program, OINP, Ontario Immigrant Nominee Program, Master's Graduate Stream. That's what I typed. So when you come down on Google, you notice the very first one here has the URL or the unique website path to address, www.ontario.ca, telling you this is official from the government of Ontario. And you also notice here that it says OINP Master's Graduate Stream. Now, we also have OINP PhD Stream. So you could have equally also replaced the Master's here with PhD if you're a PhD person, and it will give you the requirements. I'm more interested in Master's today, okay? So when I came here, I just click on this first link because it's official. You want to make sure you are picking it from the, you see, like this one here, right? It's the same thing too, www.justforcanada.com. It also says on OINP, but here is a catch. This one is not official. So if you are reading it from this website, .com, it means a private website, not for the government of Canada. I always like to pick my information, especially from the official source. That is why I take my time in letting you know how to tell an official government of Canada website. If this is about Ontario, then you want to make sure you are saying Ontario in there. If this is also from the government of Ontario, it should have .ca. Any other thing with .com, they are not official. Official means not from the government of Canada. It could be private. like this one, movingtocanada.com, not from the government of Canada, private website, right? You can go and read from them, but you cannot use them as official unless you actually check it or apply from the actual official website. So I click on that. Now let me go back and check and see if you guys are able to read. Somebody said the screen is dark. Let me increase the brightness. Is that better now? We say we is digital. You are a digital guy, so if you say it's dark, it's dark. I believe you. I just increase the brightness. Let me know if it's better now. Okay, good. So we are on the Ontario Immigrant Nominee website. Now, somebody will be wondering, hey, what is this guy trying to teach us today? I want to teach you how I got my PR. This is how I got my PR. In fact, I did the exact program I'm about to talk about to get my PR because I schooled in Ontario. I did my master's degree in Ontario and it was for 1 year. So if you're in Ontario and you did your schooling in Ontario, this is for you. Remember, even if you are not in Ontario, you're in a different province, there could be a similar program. The only difference will be their O here will change to your province. So if you're in Saskatchewan, you are not looking for OINP, you are looking for SINP. The S there will mean Saskatchewan Immigrant Nominee Program. If you're in British Columbia, yours will be different. If you're in Nova Scotia, yours could be different. If you're in Alberta, you could have been different name too. Look for the specific one that matches your province. The concept could be the same. Slight difference is the same. All right. Are they able to read? Are you guys able to hear? Okay, read. Very good. It's clear. Go on. I'm rolling now on YouTube and Facebook. All right. Now, with this program, guys, here is a requirement. You can get your PR if you completed a master's degree for 1 year in one of the following universities. I'm not going to give you a list of all the universities. You want to make sure that the master's you're doing is from these universities. Now, if you finish, the summary of it is that it is one of the easiest ways to get your PR because you don't need proof of work experience. You don't need it. Yes, you heard me right. Hey, if you're watching me and you think I got anything wrong, I misread it, you can let me know. But so long as I remember, when I was doing mine, I didn't need proof of work experience. Me, sir, from Ghana, now I no get time. Work experience for the way. Which company will you employ me from Ghana? Where Canada where I come? No, all the work experience where I do, I be graduate teaching assistantship, plus side hustles and factory works. They were no work experience I acquired at the time I was on a postgraduate work permit. So I couldn't have even had a work experience too. The most important thing you want to take from me today is that with this, the underlying qualification is not your work experience in Canada or Ontario. Unlike the college guys who may need a work experience to get their PR, masters, you don't need it, especially if you're in Ontario. Today we are the stress on. It means I want you to really get it. Now let's go. I summarize and we'll go into the details. Learn how to apply for a nomination for permanent residence in Ontario if you have a master's degree from Ontario. On this page, let's look at the overview. There are 6 things we have to go through. Quickly, I want to go through the overview, okay? So the overview here. The Ontario Immigrant Nominee Program, OIMP, has implemented a National Occupation Classification Code 2021 system as required by the federal government. A new document for blah, blah, blah is available. Okay. Now, overview. The master's graduate stream gives international graduates with Ontario master's degree the opportunity to apply to live in Canada permanently. That's permanent residence. You must first register for an expression of interest. This is the first thing to do. So if you are watching this and you finish listening, you think you meet it, the first thing to do is to register. You register. You see, you go click on this. If you click on this, make a click on them, make we see. As you click on them, learn how to apply for a nomination for permanent resident in Ontario if you are an international student or have a job offer. You know, they talk say you need a job offer. You say if you are either an international student or, okay, you go feel, let's look at it here. So here are the requirements here. 1, overview, before you apply what you need, invitation and how to apply, the cost, how much will it cost you? Of course, the application will come with a cost, application fee, right? Submit your application and blah, 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 blah. Okay, now let's go back to the main page. I want to run you through the requirements, okay? Step 1, registration of expression of interest. What is this? This is when you actually tell the province of Ontario that you would like to stay here permanently. So when you click on this and you fill out the necessary information, you're basically telling them you like them to nominate you for permanent residency. That's what it means. That's what we call expression of interest, EOI. EOI, expression of interest. Okay, good. Review a document checklist. So let's look at a document checklist. What documents will I need if I want to do this? Employer job offer, international student stream, applicant checklist. Let me know if I'm going too fast. When applying to the international stream of the Ontario Immigrant Nominee Program, you need to scan and upload copies of the following mandatory documents with your application. Number one, declaration that you are applying, identity document, your IDs, which will be your passport, your driver's license from Ontario if you have one. I recommend you add your driver's license because it shows you actually live in Ontario. If you don't have a driver's license, remember, if you don't know how to drive, you can still get a basic driver's license, which is the G1. The G1 doesn't require you to drive. You just go and take it and pass it and get it. So you can upload that one. All right. That's your ID. But you need your passport there. Employer documents. Now, if you have a job offer, meaning that if you have been hired by an employer here in Ontario, you can upload a proof that you have been hired by an Ontario company. All right. Education documents, proof of the fact that you have graduated from Ontario University. So this will be your eligibility to graduate letter from your school. This could also be your confirmation of a certificate showing you have a master's degree from Ontario University. Okay. Your resume, CV. You have to design a CV and add a CV. Then expression of interest, selection factors, and blah, 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 and blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. Okay. Identity documents, they want a photograph. You're going to need your photograph. You must scan and upload a copy of your passport or visa photograph with your application. Okay. You need your passport, your family members. Now here, the Ontario Immigrant Nominee Program is one of the programs that allows you to add your nuclear family, or what we call the dependent, your dependents, I should say. The key word here should be dependent family, without a worry. In other words, if you are the husband and you are applying, but you have your wife in a foreign country, all you need to do is to add them to the application. If you have kids or children, you add them. Even if they don't live in Ontario, when you get the PR, they will all get it at the same time. This is one of the programs that allows you to add your family members. And I mean your immediate. So your spouse and your children, not your uncles, not your cousins. You don't add those ones, right? They are not your dependents. All right. Status documents in Canada. In other words, when you're applying, they need to see proof. You must scan and upload copies of current and previous status documents given to you by Immigration, Refugees, and Citizenship, which is RRCC. Documents may include work permits, study permits, temporary resident visas, any other Canadian. What does this mean? It simply means at the time you are applying for this OIMP, one of the things we'll ask you is that any immigration document we've given you in the past, we need copies of them. Scan them and attach them. Did you come here on a study permit? Scan it and attach it. Did you get a work permit? Start it. Scan it. Do you have a postgraduate work permit? Scan and attach it. They basically want a copy of all the immigration documents they themselves have given you. You see them. Now, if there are visas in your passport, temporary resident visas here, add them. Scan them all, then you will attach them. They want to see it. Now, if you currently have an implied status, scan and upload a copy of either. What is an implied status? Well, implied status is when you are applying to extend your visa, and then at the time you are extending it, your visa had not expired when you are applying for this extension. If you have a document showing that you have applied for an immigration benefit and you are waiting for a decision, scan the proof that you have applied and you are waiting. We call that implied status. Okay. All right. Employer documents. For this stream, you must include a completed and signed employer form from your employer or signing officer. You must scan and upload a copy of this form, which includes a business and position office, blah, blah, blah. If your job offer is for NOC code 733300, which is a transport truck driver's NOC code, or a bus driver's or subway operator NOC code, or a transit operator, basically like drivers, bus drivers, and all kinds of bus, you must upload a copy of your employer's valid commercial vehicle operator's registration certificate. Now, my understanding of this is that at the time you are applying for this, they expect you to have a job offer in Ontario. The key word here is they are not specifically saying you need to have 1 year of work experience in Ontario. It's different. You could have gotten a job offer within 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. All you need is show them proof that you have a job in Ontario, which is, I recommend full-time. It is different from somebody who is doing Canadian experience class and needs 1 year of full-time work experience. The two are not the same. So I want to make sure you guys are getting the difference there. At the time I was applying, I was working in a factory, to be honest with you. I was working in a meat factory. So I showed them proof that I was employed, gave them proof of my letter of employment. That was what I needed to do, right? I even went an extra mile by giving them my pay slips and stuff like that at some point. Right, that's it. They didn't require me to have 1 year. So, hey, if you are watching me right now and you just graduated from your master's program and you have a full-time job, you should actually be looking to apply for this. Now, some of you may not know this. So you are actually waiting until you accumulate 1 year of work experience. Well, that could mean you probably haven't looked or considered this particular program. So long as you have that job offer, boom, go ahead and apply. You don't need to wait for a full 1 year, 2 year work experience before you apply. Let me go back to the comment section just to make sure people are following. As Samuel Corantin from YouTube, please, what do you do when you keep getting a challenge on information about education, work, and other activities? Your question is unfortunately not related to the topic, so I may have to skip that for now. This is what the teaching I needed. God works in different way. God bless you. This is from Gift Johnson. Okay, Alfred Amon, master's programs for 2024 is not available or not right path. Always monitoring, sir. Okay. Is there any question? I'm looking for questions just to make sure you guys are keeping up with me. Okay, no question. We're good. No question. Keep your comments coming. All right, I'm back on the screen there. All right, so now that we've read about this, let's read a little bit more. Okay, in fact, guys, let's read this. Job offer. In fact, there is even more explanation here. You must include a copy of your job offer signed by you and your employer. All you need to do, tell your employer, you need a job offer. There is a particular form your employer needs to complete. They sign, you sign. The job offer letter must be less, okay. The job offer letter must, 1, be less than 6 months old. Only when I take my time means I want to make sure I'm explaining in a way that people can understand how I understand it. What this means is that the job letter the employer will give you, the date on it, it must be less than 6 months old. In short, I have a job offer right now. My employer has signed that I work here. I've also signed the form. I've signed it. But the date on it shows August 2022. I'm actually trying to use it in May 2023. But it was signed in August 2022. Is it less than 6 months old? Based on that date of the letter, plus the time I'm doing it, is more than 6 months old from the time it was signed. You cannot use it. In short, the date that appears on the letter must be very recent and not more than 6 months. Simple. I'm taking time to explain this because I know somebody's going to confuse and say, hey, is he saying I must work for more than 6 months? That's not what he said there. All right. If you are enjoying it and you are understanding it, make sure you are commenting so that I know that you guys are in class. You guys are in class. All right. The next one, the job offer letter must be printed on business letterhead and identify the business address, telephone number, email, and website of the business. Identify the responsible officer or supervisor and include their signature. Be stamped with the business corporate seal. It must also include 1, job title, national occupation class. You see the NOC code we are talking about in the previous video. You see the CM for here again. If you don't know how to find your NOC code, it be here. It is where you find your NOC code. In other words, the job you are doing, if you don't know what the code is for that job, you have to find it. Okay. It must also state the wage, or which is the salary for that position you have been offered. It must also state your duties, the number of hours you are working in a week. It must state your vacation days. It must state your workplace location where you actually have to perform this job. It must state the starting date you started that job or you are starting that job. It must also indicate that this offer has been made to you as a full-time position, not part-time. And it must also state that all the conditions or the terms of the job offer are all effective as at the date you are using it to apply. What does it mean here? It simply means you need a full-time job. The employer must sign that it's a full-time. They must show the salary you are making. They must show the time they recruited you or the time you're about to start. Simple. It must be signed by both you and the employer. If the original offer was not signed by you and your employer, you will both need to sign the recent letter from your employer. Basically, there is a form the employer has to sign, you also have to sign. Current employment. If you are currently working for the employer in the same position as your job offer, include copies of your 2 most recent pay slip. If this job is not brand new and you have already been working with them, then include your most recent pay slip in addition. All right, license authorization. If your job offer is an occupation that requires a mandatory license, scan and upload the license. Some jobs require license, like a forklift driver. You need a license, I believe. Let me know if I'm wrong. You may need a license to do forklift. You may need a license to do certain jobs, like a nurse. So if your job requires license, send us a copy of that's what they are saying here. Now, guys, so this is it. Now, they've moved from the employment to, look at it, guys. Pay attention. Job offer, they are done. Now they are moving to which category now? Education. Did you hear them say you need a 1 year of work experience? No, all they said is a proof that you have a job. You see, that is why the master stream for Ontario graduates now is one of the easiest. In fact, that was how I got my own. I didn't need a 1 year work experience. Do you know why I'm actually doing this video, guys? All my videos, why they do it is something where they trigger ammo. Let me tell you why I'm doing this video. I'm doing this video because I talked to a brother of ours from an African country who has finished a master's degree recently and is working. So I asked the brother, have you considered applying for the master stream of the OMP? He said, I think I need a 1 year work experience. I said, no, you don't need a 1 year work experience. You are eligible. He said, oh, but what people said is that I need. So I'm working 1 year. I said, no, bro, you're wasting time. You got to be applying for this thing. But the interaction I had with him showed that he was not familiar with these requirements here and this particular stream. So I promised this brother, I will do a video because of you. He knows himself. I won't mention him. So if you are watching me right now, the emphasis here is that unlike Canadian Experience Class Masters, unlike the immigration program for PR, which is called Canadian Experience Class, which requires a 1 year of work experience in Canada or in the province of Ontario, depending on where you live in. With this stream I'm showing you, you don't need 1 year work experience. All you need is a valid full-time job offer. You got it? Tu comprends? Now let's go ahead. You heard me talk about no code in my previous video. Some of you are getting headache already. This no code animal, who is he? Who is he? Let me make it easy for you. Before you complain my videos are long, let's know that it's loaded with so much. Somebody will do a video, no code. Somebody, me, I'll give you everything like a crash course. You go watch out. You say you don't go watch, you go watch. Assuming I want to find my no code and I don't know, all I have to do is to click on this. Boom. I click on it, load. It load, eh? Okay. Then we come here. Oh, this will be grammar. It'll be grammar. That's not what I'm looking for. Grammar song. You can choose to read it, but I'm looking for, I'm looking for how to check. Now, do you remember in my previous video, I was talking about tier, TER, tier 0, management jobs. Any opposition you've heard or you hold right now, which is managerial. Tier 1, jobs that require a university degree to perform them. Like a dentist, like a desk, those kind of jobs. And they give you examples. So financial advisor, software engineer, they give you examples. Tier 2 jobs, any job that requires a college diploma, like Seneca College. So somebody has a question. So what do you mean by college diploma? It simply means any certificate you get from a college, which is more than 6 months of study, you are good to go. I don't care whether it's college certificate or you are good to go. It's good to go. College, anything we go do for that. So long as that school is eligible for postgraduate work permit and the program is more than 6 months, you are good to go, my brother. It's not about PG, PD. Look, whether it's a certificate or you are good to go, go get your papers. But remember, this program here is not for college. The program that they talk about for masters, I'm only using this to explain the confusion that some people will have about college diplomas. Tier 3. What are tier 3 jobs? Jobs that require diploma or training, apprenticeship training for less than 2 years, or job experience for more than 6 months of training. You see, an example: baker, dental assistant, dental laboratory assistant. You see, tier 4, tiers. Now that we have this here, you can view a list of the occupations. I'm going to show you guys how you can. Now, assuming you do not know how to find, you see, all the codes are here, and there are many here. All the jobs in Canada are classified. So the NOC code you are seeing here, no, this is the code for this job. If you are a financial manager, your NOC code is this. This is your NOC code for the job, 10010. And aside from the NOC code, the unique number for your job, no, this is the tier it falls under. It falls under tier 0. So tier 0, NOC code 10010, your position is financial manager. If you are a human resource manager, your NOC code is 10011. And your tier is tier 0, meaning, you see, we say tier 0. What did we say about tier 0 jobs? Tier 0 jobs all fall under jobs that are ranked as management jobs, managerial jobs in high management positions. And if you look here, all these jobs that fall under 00 tier, they all look like they are top level jobs. You know, be so? That's why they tell you, say, you did worker, especially if you are trying to get a PR using something that has NOC code. You need to know your NOC code. You need to. But I know it may be difficult for a lot of people to find theirs because, Charlie, the jobs are many. Choco, do I have to be scrolling through them page after page to find mine? No. There is an easy way to find yours. So I'm going to show you the easiest way to find yours, okay? The easiest way could be when you click on where it says you can view the full list. So I'm going to click on that. So I click on view the full list. Now, when you view it, it takes you to the NOC code website, as you can see here at the top, noc.esdc.gc. Now, when you come down, this is what you do, okay? There are different ways you can search. You can search, okay? You can basically just either enter your job title here, or you can also enter it here. Now, there is also a way you can do what we call advanced search. I always like the advanced search. What is the advanced search? This one here, right here. The advanced search there, what it does is that it gives you the opportunity to customize the search and put in your keywords. Sometimes when you enter it here, you might not pull your job. So let me play around with this one, okay? Advanced search. And then when I click on advanced search, make sure that the version of NOC code is on 2021, because there was a previous model that they were using before called 2016 model. They have now switched to 2021. So anytime you are checking, make sure that it's on the most recent version of NOC code, right? Now, when I come here, keywords. Now, what job am I doing? Let me give an example. So, general laborer. So let me type here, general. Second box, laborer. You see, if you get spelling wrong, spelling mistake problem, it go stress you, like you have to spell it correct. Now, but Choco, why didn't you type both general laborer on one side? Sometimes I realize that when you type long sentences, you know, they pull them out well. So me, I go type keyword into every session. See, I'm general, laborer. Let's say that be what your job position. They work for factory. You be factory worker, you are general laborer, unless you have a unique position. Okay. Now that I've typed that, if your position is even more than a general laborer or something title, go ahead and type it, but they use general laborer. Okay. So as I finish the general laborer now, see what I go do. Then come and select this box. This very box here, which says select all. Select it. What it means is that when you select it, it's going to basically check all these boxes and then look for any job that contains these keywords for you. So when I finish typing, so assuming you are, say, customer call center representative, just type representative, call center. When you finish, come and check here. You see, it has a check here. No, what you see for here? Everything has been checked. It's going to pull it for you. Then what do we do? Search. Boom. You go load. If we see them. Search. Good. Okay. Please separate search parameters by a comma. Oh. Okay. Sorry. It wasn't loading, but now we have it. It was taking a bit of time to load. So guys, you can see that it has loaded it well. Set parameters is loaded. Now you can see it's giving me. So now look at the jobs it's giving me, yeah? Construction trades, helpers, and laborers. You see, say the keyword laborer is in here. It pulled this one because it has the word laborer in it. Okay. Public works and maintenance laborer. Is that what I'm looking for? I say general laborer. So me, I've just for scroll down until I find where you say general laborer. See, I'm at the scroll. Mine laborer, oil and gas laborer. Other laborers in processing, manufacturing, and utilities. You see, so this one, he give you order. I don't see general laborer. So I'm leaning more towards this one because it's supposed to be say general, but you say other laborers in processing. Your company, the processing company, manufacturing, or utility. So long as you be laborer for there, you default fall for here. Make I click on them. So I click on them. Wait, as I click on them now, all general laborer jobs, you see the code you give them 95109. Your code be this, your not code be this. Then when you come here, you come and look at the examples of titles that fall here. Bindery helper, boss packer, carton marker, chair sander, clothing plant laborer, electrical products laborer, film cutter, film processing, furniture packer. Aha, you see, yeah. Still, I know say general laborer, but I know say general there means you know they get a designation. They do all kinds of odd jobs, but you fall here. This is your not code. If you know better than what I'm showing, please correct me in the correct section. This is it. Now, let me go back and search for another job. Let's say I am, okay. Let me go back one more time. It's loading. I just hope you guys are following. God bless you. It's taking a bit of time to load. Oh, don't mess me up, computer. It's taking a bit of time. Okay, we are here. Okay, so let me do another one for another job. Okay, let's say chef. No, chef, server. Some people they be food server. They serve food for restaurant or whatever. We go and use a server. The next line, food. Right, food server. So, but I didn't put all of it on one line. Just keywords. Then I come and select the box all. Then I run my search. I show you how to. You see, say the video I do is not about no code, but I teach you this in the process. So, because I don't like leaving things unattended to. Once I see them for that, I teach you. All right. So as I do, I'm no food service supervisor, but I'm a food server, so it wouldn't be this one. Okay. Bartender. I'm a food server, not this one. Oh, this is it. Food and beverage server. What is your NOC code? 65200. Yes, that's your NOC code. Now, aside from seeing the NOC code here, what is your tier? Your tier. What tier number is it? Is it tier 2? Is it tier 4? Is it tier 4? The numbers you see under the tier is the tier your job falls under. So let's go and check the tier for this one, which is the food server. For food server, your NOC code is 65200 and your tier is tier number 5. Do you know why this is important? If the type of PR you are doing requires a specific NOC code and a tier, you have to know based on the job you are doing. If your job does not meet it, you have to change your job to a different job. I'm done. Let me go back to my immigrant nominee program thing. All right. Somebody has a question. Hi, brother. Should the master's degree be completed only in Ontario too, or can we complete the master's in another province? You can complete the master's anywhere, but this very video is for Ontario graduates who would have a master's degree. So, but you can use the same concept to find a similar program in your province, wherever you're going, in New Brunswick, Saskatchewan. They also have theirs, which is similar. So look for theirs and look for their version. But the same concept here will apply to other provinces. I'm very sure about this. Okay, almost all the provinces have something for masters and PhD graduates for PR. Yeah, but this one, for the purpose of this video, strictly for Ontario graduates who have a master's degree or people who are planning to study in Ontario. All right, so here we are going back to our conversation on the OINP. So we've sorted out the job requirement. Let's look at the education, okay? Under education documents, they want you must scan and upload a copy of your education degree. Basically here, your master's degree that you claim you have from Ontario. Scan it. And watch here. They say your diploma or certificate, which means your degree, your degree from your master's program, okay, also known as your education credential, and from an eligible college. And anytime you see the blue, it means something is there. They are telling you that you can't just go to any school here in Ontario and hope to use it to get this program here. It must come from a certain school. So let's go through by clicking on that link there. OIMP Employer Job Offer International Stream. And then when I click on it, we are looking for the schools that are here. Okay, I was hoping that it would give me the schools. Why is it bringing me here? I thought I clicked on eligible schools, right? Is that not what I clicked? Okay, you must have received an eligible education from a Canadian. So I came under the education again. It says Canadian institution. So let me click on it. It says one of the following Canadian institution. Let's click. Okay, so these are the schools here. Eligible Canadian colleges and universities in Ontario for this OIMP. Okay. Oh, is that what I'm looking at? No, we are looking at universities. So guys, something is not right. Let me go back and make sure I'm clicking on the right thing. Okay, education documents. You must scan and upload a copy of, also known as a, and from an eligible college or university. Okay, so it's giving us colleges. That's good. My time, it was just masters. Let's go through it. I'm curious to know what they will have on for masters and colleges. So let's see. We've covered a job offer. We said it should be permanent and full-time. Eligible occupation. Okay, so here, look at it here, guys. Eligible occupation. We are still under OIMP. Remember, we are still here. Ontario, OIMP is in there, in the URL. They are telling you that the job that you are going to be using must fall under category 0, 1, 2, or 3. You remember I taught you how to find a NOC code and a tier and all of that. So if the job you are currently doing in Ontario as a master's student does not fall in any of these tiers, you cannot use it to apply for this program based on what they are saying here. We saw food server, a food server. The NOC code for that was category tier 5. You cannot use that position to apply for this program, even if you're a master's degree holder in Ontario. It must fall within this 0, 1, 2, or 3. All right. Let me look for the schools here. Education. Let's read this. You must have received from an eligible Canadian institution one of the following: a degree or a diploma that takes at least 2 years to complete if you study on a full-time basis, or a degree or a diploma certificate that takes at least 1 year to complete if you study on a full-time basis, and that requires a completed degree as an admission requirement. All right. Okay. Let me take my time to explain. Let me see if my people are following. If you are following, let me know. Guys, a lot have changed from the time I did mine in 2016 to now. So bear with me as I try to make sense of it. All right? If you are still following me and it's not boring, make sure you are commenting and liking it. If I'm talking too much, let me know. I'll also end it nicely. I'm going to try and explain what I just read. You can always do more reading, okay? Remember when I started, I said this is mostly for master's programs, but I'm seeing something which is, for me, like a new information. Maybe it was there at the time I applied, but because I was ignorant, I didn't know. But for me, at this time, it looks like a new information. So I want to explain, okay? So watch it carefully. The first requirement here says a degree or a diploma. The degree here will satisfy a university person, or a diploma that takes at least 2 years to complete if you study on a full-time basis. So if you did a 2-year degrees, you are good. If it is on a full-time basis, not part-time. If it is also a diploma and it is also on 2-year basis, full-time, you're good. Then look at the second criteria. Second one, the same thing, repeated the same thing, but it changed it a bit. A degree or a diploma or a certificate. Elizabeth Moro, one of my followers, asked a question. So, Choco, what about those of us who did certificate programs? This is where you see yourself. You say certificate, no be so. They say for the diploma or certificate. But look at what it says after that. That takes at least 1 year to complete. Wait a minute. But I'm in Seneca College. I'm in Niagara College. I'm doing a 1-year certificate program. That looks like it meets this one. Okay, we are not done. Let's read the other requirement. That takes at least 1 year to complete. If you study on a full-time basis, full-time, no be part-time course, they do full-time. And this is the key part here. And if that requires a completed degree as an admission requirement, this part is the game changer, guys. Game changer with this one. So let me take my time and break it down. If you are a master's degree holder, your ability to have entered into the master's degree program was based on you satisfying the requirement of admission, which says you have a degree. True or false? Almost every school that will admit you for a master's program will ask you for a degree as a requirement. That is why if Choco came to do a 1-year master's here, he met this requirement with clause number 2, this second one, because I came with a degree from University of Ghana, which was a requirement for me to do my master's program. All right. If you are following this thing, make sure you are commenting and saying hallelujah. Now, let's go to the second part. The second part, or the first part here, no, the second part of this same condition here, and it says that if you also hold a diploma or a certificate and you did a 1-year program, you are still eligible to apply for this one here. If your program was on a full-time basis, your one way you do for Ontario for 1 year, or college certificate or whatever, no, that's what he's saying here. And then he says something here. If provided that admission you got into the college, the minimum requirement or requirement was a degree. Guys, you've watched my videos and I said the minimum requirement to enter into colleges in Ontario is secondary school. But do you know there are some programs that will not admit you if you don't have a degree? Yes. There are some college programs that specifically require a degree for admission. So if you are in one of those programs in Ontario that require that you have a degree before they give you that college certificate program, which is 1 year, and it's a full-time program you're doing and you finish, technically you satisfy condition number 2. Yes. I know I said this program is about master stream, but from what we are seeing here, it's an international student stream. It expanded it. So here we are. That is why I'm taking my time to explain this. I don't think I knew this information in 2016 when I was doing my own application. I only focused on mine because I was a master's guy. Now, what about those who are doing 2-year master's programs as well in Ontario? You already meet the requirement. You've even gone beyond 1 year. So long as it's not a part-time study, it's full-time, you're good to go. I personally think if I have the option of doing a 1-year program instead of a 2, I'll choose a 1 year because 1 year gives me the PR. Why will I waste my time on 2 year? Hey, but if the program is very important to you and it's a 2-year program, go and do it. Don't say Choco said 1 year is not. No, do the 2 year if that is a dream program for you. But if it's for Jackpa PR reason, Charlie, 1 year does the job. Simple. It does the job. Quick. 8 months, you're done. Got it? All right. Beautiful. If you are following, drop your comments and let me make sure you guys are following, okay? So I finished covering this. For the record, I'm saying if you are a college person and your schooling program where they do in college right now in Ontario required a degree as a requirement, you are technically eligible based on what we are reading here. You can explore this and look into this. You can go to the immigration office of your school, ask them to even explain this more better to you. Do a bit more research. That's how I understand this. All right, not just for master's people. All right, now let's go through this. This means that in order to be eligible, your 1-year program must require, you see how they stretch them? That one in black is what Choco is repeating like this, and some of you watch my video and you don't understand. No? You may have understood it, but not everybody watching me have understood it. That's why I have to explain. Your 1-year program must require a completed degree as an admission requirement. 1-year programs are ineligible if they require a degree or a diploma or a degree or work experience. A 1-year program is not eligible if They require a degree or a diploma, comma, or a degree or work experience, comma, or similar, regardless of whether you personally completed a degree program prior to being accepted into your one-year program. This part is confusing a little bit. Please also know that in order for a certificate program to be eligible, it must take at least 1 year to complete and require a completed degree as an admission requirement. A certificate program that takes 2 or more years is still subject to the degree requirement. Wow. How do I feel like this part is a little bit confusing? Let's unpack it. If they require a degree or a diploma, okay, this means that in order to be eligible, your 1-year program must require a completed degree as an admission requirement, okay? 1-year programs are ineligible, not eligible, if they require a degree or a diploma or a degree or work experience or similar, regardless of whether you personally completed a degree program prior to being accepted into a 1-year program. This part looks a bit confusing. Sounds to me like it's just saying why is it saying ineligible? Because if I already completed a 1-year degree program prior to coming to start my college, and the college admission was based on the fact that I had a degree, then I should be qualified. Guys, I'll look into this a little bit more and I'll come back to this. Okay, but let's focus on the fact that today it's for master's people. Okay, all right. But of course, if you have a 2-year certificate program, you are eligible provided you also had a degree before getting into that particular 2-year program. All right. You must also have completed more than half of your studies while living and studying in Canada. Okay. A full-time study is determined by your college. Okay. Valid license or other authorization. This is if your job that you are currently doing in Ontario requires a license. We've talked about that, like forklift, nurses, and all of that. Gives a list. Intention to live in Ontario. Okay, guys, I was hoping to see a list of schools. I thought I saw it earlier somewhere when I was reviewing the document. For some reason, I'm not seeing the list. I will definitely look for this and post it. There is a whole list of schools that you want to make sure you are attending in order to be eligible for this. I'm not sure why I can't find it. Okay, but this is where I click, right? So why is it not showing me? Okay, it gave me a list of colleges here. Eligible Canadian colleges and universities in Ontario: Algonquin College, Cambrian College, Canada College, Centennial College, College Boreal, Conestoga College, Confederation College, Durham College, Fanshawe College, Fleming College, George Brown College, Georgian College again, Humber College, La Cité College, Lambton College, Loyalist College, Michener Institute, Mohawk College, Niagara College, Canada, Northern College of Applied Arts and Technology, Sault College, Seneca College, Sheridan College, St. Clair College, St. Lawrence College of Arts. Now, so these are the colleges they've listed for Ontario. You see them there. Universities: Algoma University, Brescia University, Brock University, Carleton University, Dominican University College, Huron University College, King's University College, Lakehead, Laurentian, McMaster, Nipissing College, Ontario College of Arts, Queen's University, Royal Military College, Ryerson University, St. Paul University, Jerome's, Trent University, University of Guelph, and the list continues. Now, do you know why this is important? This is so helpful. So that if you're coming to study in Ontario, hoping to use this particular stream, you already know which universities you should be targeting. You cannot just go and pick any university. You want to make sure they're in a list. If this program is what you're actually targeting, all right? If this is what you are targeting, you can tell that it gives other particular provinces as well and all of that. But I'm more focused on Ontario because I'm talking about Ontario today. Okay, at least I found what I was looking for. Let's go back to the requirements again, guys. We've talked about the job offer requirement. We've talked about the academic requirement and the expression of interest. We've also talked about the schools and eligibility criteria. If your job requires a license, you will need to upload a scanned copy of your license. I don't think a lot of jobs do. Some jobs do require a license. All right, now, this is the part I want you to at least focus on because this is the part that a lot of people do not know. especially new graduates. So listen to this key. Intention to live in Ontario. What is this about? You must intend to live in Ontario after you've been granted permanent residence. If we grant you the permanent residence, don't just run away and go to another province. You must intend to live here. All right? We determine this by examining your ties to Ontario, which can include doing things like 1, working or having worked in Ontario, 2, getting job offers or applying for an interview or for jobs in Ontario, 3, you studied in Ontario, 4, you have volunteered or done some volunteering work in Ontario, 5, you have a lease or you own a property. Leasing means you are a tenant, you have a tenancy agreement that makes you live in Ontario, or you are a property owner and you live in Ontario. This is not to say if you buy a house, you are going to use this stream to get. It simply means one of the ways we check your intention to want to live here is to check whether you have been renting in Ontario for the past whatever when you were living here, or if you currently own your own property. If you don't own it, at least you are a tenant, isn't it? All right. Visiting. If you've been visiting Ontario and it shows that, Charlie, you've been visiting here, even if you have not been living here for long, but at least you've been visiting here in the past and you can show proof that there's a province you've been visiting, they can also accept that. This is not for somebody watching me to say, does it mean visitor's visa holder can apply? That's not what we are talking about. We are talking about the different ways to establish your connection to the province under the master stream or the international student stream. The last one here, having professional networks and affiliations, families, ties, and relations. Now, summarize this. What does this mean, guys? All of this thing under point 4, what does it mean? It simply means at the time you are applying for this, they will require you to prove to them how much connection you have to the province of Ontario, which technically means show us how much you love this province to the extent that you want to live here. Show us how much you love this province. Now, the way to do that is to show them anything you have that binds you or connects you to the province. Number 1, since you are applying as international students, show them proof that, when I came here, I actually schooled in Ontario. All my education was done in Ontario. So I have connection by way of, I have a tie to Ontario by way of the fact that I graduated from Ontario. I schooled here. What is the proof? My transcript, my certificate to show I graduated from a master's program. You understand what I mean, right? That is the proof. So when I was doing it, I actually had to write in my 1 or 2 page essay. I wrote an essay and I named it, I put the title there, proof of connection or proof of ties to Ontario. That's the title. Proof of ties to Ontario or proof of connection to Ontario. And then in an essay, I wrote that when I came to Canada, Ontario is the only province I've lived in. In fact, my master's program was done in this university in Ontario. So all my life, Ontario is where I've known, and that is why I want to stay here. You have proved to them that you schooled in Ontario. Then there are other things. When you are here, where you are renting, if you are renting, then your lease agreement is proof that you actually are connected to Ontario. So what do? When I came to Ontario, I also rented and lived in Ontario for 1 year or 2 years. I live at this address. I live at this address, and I was paying my rent. So by virtue of this, I have the connection to live here in Ontario. You see, you are arguing out in that essay that your proof to Ontario is the fact that you have a lease agreement. And remember, everything you say, you must prove it. So if you tell them you graduated, you must add a transcript and a certificate for them to see that you've added it. You take a copy from your university or your school and mail it to this OIMP people. Now, you said you live in Ontario, isn't it? How would they know? Show them the lease agreement. So get a lease agreement if you have a copy, right? If you don't have one, get it from your landlords, right? A lease agreement with your landlord's name, information on it, your name on it, showing that you rented this property. You add it. You see, showing that I live at number 2, Obeweku Street, number 3, Garnier Road in Ontario, in the city of St. Catharines, in the city of Kitchener. I made a requirement. You're good to go. Then the next one is the different ways you can show. You can also show them proof that you have professional ties or social ties in Ontario. By that, your work experience. Show them, hey, since I came to Ontario, I've been working in Ontario all my life. So by work of that, I have professional connection to Ontario. I work at Citel. I work at Central Canada. I work at Concentrix Canada. I work at Canadian Tire Financial Services. I work at this bank. And I worked there for 1 year. By virtue of that, I established my professional life in Ontario. You're showing them that you have been established in Ontario. Professionally, you are connected to this place. It could be your career in Ontario. Then there are also social ties. Social ties are not professional. They may not be paying you, but they bond you to Ontario. Some of them could be clubs or groups that you join. They could be volunteer groups that you've joined and you've been doing some volunteer work, right? So if you've been doing some volunteering, you say that, you know what, I've been volunteering with this particular group. Start Me Up Niagara. I've been volunteering there every weekend, once in a while. I've been volunteering with this group in my church, right? You are writing to let them know that you have been involved in society in Ontario. That is a social tie. For me, at the time that I applied for this program, I argued that my church was my social tie. I argued out and told them that, look, since I came here, all my life, my spiritual life has been formed here in Ontario. I go to this particular church. I'm a key member of the church. I was an usher at that time, so I said I'm an usher playing a key role in my church, and my whole life has been built around this church as well. For you, if you're a Muslim, your mosque, where you fellowship, is your social tie. If you are not a religious person, but you belong to a social club or group, that is also a tie. Some people belong to what is the name of this group? The Rotary Club in their city or in Ontario. There are different groups. Now, this is not to say that if you don't have a volunteering background, you won't be qualified for this. Just show them the different ways you are eligible. Some people may not have volunteering, but they have the proof of education, proof of job, proof of that. You are still good to go. You don't have to like check all of them, but at least check as many as you can. That's the key word. That's what I think. All right. Now, the other way you can also show them a proof of tie to Ontario when you write that 1 to 2 page essay. I think you're going to write about 2 pages, by the way. 1 page is too short. Is to let them know that, hey, your bank account and your financial life is all in Ontario. You even have your bank account in Ontario with this bank. By way of proving this to you, here is my bank statement. If you're comfortable, of course, you are going to need a bank statement, so you're going to give them your bank statement anyway. I've attached my bank statement for your kind review. My address is all in Ontario. Hey, another way I'm connected to Ontario is my phone number. I have an Ontario phone number. My number is an Ontario number, not a New Brunswick, not a Nova Scotia, not a Calgary number. My phone number is an Ontario registered phone number. For you to verify this, I've attached a copy of my most recent phone bill. Your phone bill will show your name. Your phone bill will show your Ontario address. That's a proof of tie. They see them. Yeah. Some people also add their pay slips just to show. Basically, the whole idea is give them reasons to show that you are true and true an Ontario resident. You intend to live here. All right. I hope you guys are good. Let me go back. I have covered the intention to live here, and I've covered all the different things here. If you own a property yourself, then the proof of ownership, which is like your title showing that you own the property, or your utility bills or your mortgage statement could also be a proof that you actually have a connection to Ontario. I've also talked about this once here. Now, some people could also use what we call family ties. It simply means these are people who have their families here in Ontario. So maybe your brother lives in Ontario, you yourself, you schooled here, your brother also lives here, or you yourself, you were a student, but your wife is here in Ontario, your children are here. You have to go and let them know that, hey, my whole family has been an Ontario resident. I can't imagine leaving them. That is why we want to establish here. That is also an argument there. All right. Legal status in Canada. Basically, here at the time you apply, you must have a legal status to be in Canada. You cannot be applying at a time when you are out of status and you don't have the document. They'll refuse your application. I remember at the time I applied, I was almost out of my work permit, my postgraduate work permit. So I actually used my implied status to kind of keep myself in this program. I was very close to missing out the deadline, but God was good. I got it, right? Application period. You must submit your application within 2 years of completing the requirements. In other words, when you get out of school and you're planning to do this, make sure you use the time you leave school till the next 2 years to have done it. If you go beyond 2 years, you are out of it, you are not eligible. So anybody who finishes a master's program and you wait until you are beyond 2 years from the time you graduated, you are technically not eligible. All right. This means that the date on your educational credential must be within 2 years, which is your schooling in Ontario, must be within 2 years at the time you apply. All right. Okay. Now, there is also a proof of funds requirement. When you are doing this, they are going to require you to have a proof of funds, meaning your bank statement. I don't know if, so guys, if your employer is going to fill out the application form for you, there is a form here that you have to give your employer to fill out. So some employers may give you a letter confirming you work there, and they may still have to fill out this particular form for you, okay? And I also noticed that one of the things they've introduced in the recent OINPs is that they've begun scoring people points based on their qualifications. At the time I did it, if I'm not mistaken, there was no scoring or point system. You just apply, and if you meet a requirement, they give it to you. But it looks like right now they are giving people points based on the type of job they have and all of a whole bunch of things, right? So anyway, let me just go ahead and see what the point system here means. So for those who have a steady permit status, which is valid for work or study permit, they get 10 points. So if at the time you're doing it, you have a study permit. Okay, let me just take my time and explain this. So here they are actually also rewarding people for even how long they are on the job. If you've been on a job for more than 6 months, they are giving you 3 points. If the job you have been on is less than 6 months, they are giving you 0 point. This doesn't mean you won't get it. Me, at the time that I do, and now my job self, reach there, but I still got it, right? Don't want to confuse you with this. I think you're all going to get it. If you made the basic requirements, you're going to get it. PhD people, they give you 10 points, masters 8 points. The time they do they didn't have a point system. We all got it, by the way. So I don't see why they, anyway, just stop here and continue. All right. So the point system is here. Then there is also a language test criteria. You either do the CELPIP or you do the IELTS general. Most important thing, pass it. I believe at the time I did mine, we needed to have a minimum of 6.66 or something. You can see the requirements that are here. So, hey, just make sure you pass it well. Minimum 6.5 or 7, you're good to go. Don't go and fail. Just make sure you are dedicating time to pass it, okay? Okay. Guys, basically, I think that is the end of this. In summary, if you're a master's degree holder in Ontario and you schooled in one of the schools here, guys, as soon as you finish, apply for your OINP. Now, here is the thing you need to know about the OINP, guys. Look, maybe I may not be updated with a new development with the OINP. I haven't really paid attention to this in a long while. But let me tell you what happened at the time I did mine. They only open applications for OIMP once in a year. They don't mention the date. They don't advertise the date they are going to open it. It is open once in a year. Per my experience at the time I did mine, they always open it around spring, meaning between March, April, May. That was the time they used to open it. Nobody knew when they were going to open it. But the bottom line is if you're applying to use this to get your PR, you have to be ready. What does it mean to be ready? Your passport from your home country is not expiring. You have enough time on it. For me, enough time means at least 1 year on your passport. If you have less than 1 year, well, I don't recommend. It's risky using a passport which is less than 1 year to apply. Have a valid passport, by the way, but if possible, renew your passport ahead of time so that you have enough years on it, okay? Number 2, make sure you also meet the eligibility to graduate. If you have met all the eligibility, it means the school would have sent you a letter showing that you are eligible to graduate. That's what we call the eligibility to graduate. Number 3, have your language test result ready. Your IELTS result is valid for 2 years if you want to use it for immigration, for PR. By IELTS, we mean IELTS General, not academic. This was where I had my own problem when I was doing my application. Guess what? Yours truly, Choco, was chasing money. I was doing 2 or 3 jobs at that time. I had no time to prepare for my IELTS. In fact, I didn't know I was supposed to be preparing for it until the very last minute when I was running out of my work permit. That was when my friends told me, hey, you got to be doing your PR application. So I went online trying to book my IELTS appointment. And guess what happened? I couldn't find a date. I couldn't find a date which was closer. All the dates were like 3, 4, 5 months away. Now, here was the part that got me really depressed. I was so close to the time they were going to open the OINP. It was around March, April, May. It was going to be open. I was trying to get my language test by February. And I was hoping to get an appointment to do my IELTS within February. There was no date. Where am I going to manufacture the date? There was no date. And at the time I was doing mine, if I'm not mistaken, there was no CELPIP. It was only IELTS. What if I had done my IELTS ahead of time? I would have been safe, isn't it? I didn't have it ahead of time. I almost missed out on my PR. That is what I'm telling you. If you're on a PGWP or about to jump on it, you are likely to sit your bum down, chasing job, 2, 3 jobs, making money, buying car, planning to marry without your out. So here is my question to you. If they open it this April, are you ready with your language test result? Without your language test, how do you enter the pool? How do you enter to go and submit? They say you need a language test to do it. Without it, how are you going to get it? Go and get your language test done. If you haven't already booked a test, give yourself 2 months to get ready for it. You can book your test 2 months ahead of time, 3 months ahead of time. Go and study it. This year, I don't even know if they've opened the OIMP. If they haven't, they will open it this spring. Going to summer, they will open it. If they open it, they don't announce it like Jesus Christ coming on. Jesus Christ said they can, they didn't announce them. Before you go see, they open it. And when they open it, do you know which people make it by getting it? What am I trying to say here? When they open it, they have a quota. They have a certain number of applications they want to receive. The moment they hit it, they close it. Listen to me. There are many people chasing this program. You are not the only person. When they open it, first come, first serve. So those who will enter and submit their expression of interest and will get an email confirming that they have been, their application or their nomination, whatever has been received, they are the ones who will go through. So you, where you did that, where you know do your IE, LTS or self paper exams, where you did that, they chase money. When they open it, how are you going to enter? Yet you have a master's degree. You've been chasing money, no so. And they tell you, say, look sharp, then write your ass or self paper exams. You think I'm joking? No so. Don't write it. We'll make the mistake. Many of our master students, that's their problem right now. They are delaying to go and write us at the end of their postgraduate work permit. They are not ready. So if they open a brand new immigration program, they'll miss out. There was a program introduced about 2 years ago called TR to PR, Temporary Residence to Permanent Residence. Nobody saw it coming. When they opened it, guess what? Most of the Indians got in. Some of our Africans got in. But at least I know a lot of our African brothers who couldn't apply because they didn't have their documents ready. What document? They didn't have their language test ready. They didn't have this ready. How do you enter the pool? Okay, my name is Choco. Sometimes I talk a lot. The emphasis means I'm waking you up. God bless you and thanks for watching. Explore the OIMP a lot more. I'm going to leave the link to this in the description box of my YouTube channel. So if you're watching this on Facebook, make sure you hop onto YouTube, go get the link. If you can find it on Google, all the best for you. If you have any questions, do a bit more research, post them. I'll also do a bit more research. Let me see if there are questions here that I'll take. Keep all your questions related to this. I promise you, with all my energy, I'll skip your question if it's not related to the topic. You will not be the one to cause me to digress. All right. All right. Let's see if there are some questions here. All right. Ife Sinachi Frank. Good morning, sir. I'm doing fine. Good. Please talk about college students. This is from Fijero Onera. How can I get your contact? Wrong question at the wrong time. When you see me in the spirit like this, you don't ask questions like this with all seriousness. Wrong question at the wrong time. Anytime you see me actively talking like this, I don't want distraction. Please, I need to join your Telegram group. Okay, questions related to the topic. You are just real. You gave a college last month and I opened. Okay, thank you for the appreciation, but wrong post at the wrong time. Looking for things related to this. Okay, checking the questions both from YouTube and Facebook. Okay. Okay, no question. Okay, so Esther Adesiyun has a question. Hello, sir. I noticed you said you studied political science. I also studied political science in my undergraduate level. Please, sir, what master program do you suggest an institution? Well, master's program has to do with specialization. Your specialization also has to do with your interest, the area that you are interested in doing your master's. I'll recommend you pick a specialization or an area that you think you're okay with. The most common ones are comparative studies, international relations, public policy. We could also have Canadian politics. So pick the area that you are more comfortable with and you think that you can actually write your research if it requires a thesis in, okay? I did international relations, but if I were to go back, I would have probably done public policy. I felt international relations was too much of theory. Public policy was more grounded in practicals for me. All right. All right, guys, I can't find any other question related to it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's a rather long one, but when it's long, you know what it means. Yeah. God bless you and thanks for watching. We don't need more money. We need more wisdom. All the best. Peace. Take care. Bye-bye.